and I found some stuff, but it was like like 8 years old. So I'm like, I don't know if this is a real mailing
Yeah.
address. So
Right. There must be a service that does that, right? To some degree.
there's a couple, but everything I've found is like not super
Doesn't feel like,
good. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like,
Okay.
yeah, maybe that might be it.
That might be at a good, you work with Ashley or, I mean, that's a,
Yeah, I had Ashley initially do. I was like, go find me some contact information, and then I looked at the sheet, and it was all just like info@markdevine.com, and like
right.
for the big list of people I get, it was like, God damn it, this isn't gonna help.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems like you could get somebody more affordable even to do something like that. Um, just there must be some way to verify a business address. That's not too tedious, you know?
Yeah, I think I can just do Hoover's, although a lot of people are just like in like Wyoming or whatever, so it would
I
just get sent there.
Yeah, I think it's mostly safe to send to the physical address you see in emails. It's usually a PO box or
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
But that's like for me, it's my office, and I get things here all the time randomly.
Okay.
Yeah,
People,
for Jeff, it's a PO box in Durango that the finance and customer service teams that are based locally go and check.
yeah.
Yeah.
So usually it might take a minute, but stuff usually from that address will get to the person
Okay, cool.
if
So
it's
if I
not taking.
send, I can send a book, a lift letter, maybe a little other extra gift thing.
Yeah, I was thinking that like a little personal note, the book, and maybe a couple examples of even just to show, print out a web
Yeah,
page.
yeah. I was gonna print out the articles that I wrote, and then also just maybe that or a more direct like, here's how you can use it.
Right. Yeah, this is a good thing to follow up with. Press kit. Okay, cool. How did it go down with Rhonda? She was pretty ready to go.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic. Because I was like, I was asking questions like, how do you feel about our case studies? And she's like, shut up, Brian. We know these suck. What do you got for me? So yeah, she was pretty much, she was into it. She was basically like, yeah, I've wanted to do these for a long time, but I didn't have the bandwidth, so perfect, do them.
Cool. Good. So we need to model that. So
Yeah,
someone with a ton of social proof, right? And we know that's important to her.
yeah,
I mean, maybe there's something in the DNA of her being an influencer who feels like she's still like people don't appreciate enough how influential she is. Maybe.
that's a good question. I'll ask her like, what was it that made this such a no-brainer for you?
Yeah, and she might not even cite that directly or realize it, but that's my take. Is she's a pioneer in this industry, man, and I always feel like outside of her circle, she feels that she's right. Like I think people might not appreciate that enough or recognize that enough.
Mm.
So cool. All right, man. So all is well.
Yeah, more or
Cool.
less. I mean, it works a little bit. It's been light the last month, and then this one. Um, so that's a little concerning, but it's also because I'm just trying to make case studies a thing now.
Yeah.
Just being like, nope, only this. Fuck off everything else.
Yeah, that's good because you'll always have options. But if you can, yeah, go through the little bit of discomfort to fill your calendar with
Yeah.
more of that.
I'm doing all the outreach all at once that I've been neglecting all year.
Right. That's good. That's the quickest thing to force you to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is a light calendar. So cool. All right. Great, man. Good stuff.
Yep.
All righty. Who's next? Hello, Angie.
Hey, so I mostly wrote about what's going on in the Super Journal this morning, but got all of my copy over the holiday weekend to Dave since he's in Ireland and he doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. He's working on Permission to Kick Ass, which has the sample chapter officially finished.
Great.
My phone a friend service is now being rebranded as a jam session, which I feel is much more brand
much more
worthy.
Angie. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so just working on, and I appreciate the hell out of him because he reminded me to change Angie Coley slowly for free instead of all at once for a massive cost. So that's happening in the background. Things with Jeff have naturally reached a slow point in the year. This typically slows down, and then January becomes, oh my God, what the hell? But the good news is we have a new marketing director who is very project management and system. She's like, no, I got that. No, let me find that out. I'll do that. I'll take care of that. I'm calling that meeting. And I'm like, cool, what do I do? She's like, write those emails. You got it.
Awesome.
I like that. That's a much
That's
better
good. So all that stuff that you were feeling underpaid for before has kind of been taken off your plate.
Yes, which is nice.
Good.
I get to go back to writing, and we're, unlike with the other exec where it felt like a power struggle at first, like
Yeah.
she's very content to come in and go, you know Jeff's voice, he trusts you, so you do what you want in terms of writing. What do you think about this? And is very collaborative. So I'm enjoying her a lot.
Good.
That's super nice. And other than that, just out how to add more less work, more money tasks to my calendar for the coming year. I love doing those 20-minute phone calls with people. It's super low effort for me. Pick up the phone, listen to shit, ramble, walk away.
Yeah.
Love that. I love the consulting for Ari, minus the one, copywriter that was kind of like pulling teeth with. So just figuring out how to add more of that and more revenue. And it's
Some
coming.
more of those. Yeah. Figure out how are you positioning the jam sessions?
For right now, so like my authority content this week is going to be about the fact that Permission to Kick Ass is coming, and keep an eye out. I'll announce it soon. What did I say for how it's basically like one of the things in the blues community and the music community in general is you can create really killer music with just a couple people and a variety of instruments. So the whole point of a jam session is to create what you can with what you've got. And often, whether you've got like 3 drummers or 5 artists and no singers, you can create. It's really, really wonderful, even if you don't have the right instruments or the right lyrics or the right balance. So that's basically how I'm positioning it. Like, it's about use what you have right now. You and me, we get together, we jam, we figure out what your next steps are, and we create what we can.
I like that. That's really cool.
Awesome.
So like what specific problem would they have if you want to work out an idea or find inspiration? Or
the people that have been reaching out to me, like when they see me go off on a Facebook rant, which seems to be worse right now, me going into Copywriter Club and ranting about something for a while, is usually help creating a plan to escape their day job or help with some sort of marketing or client problem.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. And did you get Permission to Kick Ass URL?
Yep.
Awesome. I love that.
So that is currently being built. I will share in the group once it's done. And yeah, that's
Fantastic.
where we're at.
All right. Good stuff, Angie.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Who's next? We're jamming right along here on the drive home. The lunch hour jam. Hi, Melanie.
Hey.
How are
the
you?
funnel works.
Yeah?
Yeah. It has leads now. It has 2 leads. So
Wow.
Look at that. Very exciting.
That's the YouTube funnel?
Yeah. Yeah. I was on Zoom with Patrick yesterday, and it was, let's redo the lander and let's do this and let's have so many words for like 2 hours. So we did that for a while, and I hang up and I think that means we're done with our conversation. All of a sudden the phone rings and I'm like, what? And he's like, you have a lead. It was the funniest moment because people don't just call me on my phone, except for you on Thanksgiving. But I'm like, are you okay? Is everything okay? So that's been a big excitement.
That's great. And so what is that lead? Is that a name on your list that is now in a sequence, or what's happening with that lead?
Yeah. Marketing's the most magical thing ever. You bring in a lead, you put them in an autoresponder.
Crazy, right? You have sort of this conversation with them that you don't really have to be there for.
That's exactly it. I'm like, this is so weird. They're like, it's as though I'm talking, but I'm not there. It's
that whole
silly.
Crazy customer's journey thing we talked about.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Awesome.
So it's been interesting because I'm trying to be as educated a consumer as possible. So I keep asking all these stupid questions and then encourage him to turn those into blog posts because I'm not the only uneducated consumer he's going to run across. So
right.
Yeah. but it is
especially
fun.
with YouTube.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what's the goal for it?
Ultimately there'll be a class. It'll be a little 8-week class. So, but with the way my schedule is packing out now, I was thinking maybe I could do a thing in January, but it kind of looks like it'll be the spring before I do. So in the meantime, it's an opportunity to have the conversations with people and pick up a couple of one-on-one coaching clients.
Yep. Dialogue. And are there things for them to do in the funnel?
Yeah, they can get my 9 buyers book. They can take the ideal client quiz, the 9 buyers quiz, and then of course they can have the call with me and give me money.
Right. So the 9 buyers quiz, they turn that into you, or you get that?
Yeah, I get that, and then it's a reason to have a conversation. So everything is as many places as I could. I'm like, hey, you want to talk about that? Hey, you want to show me what you did? How are you today? Want to visit?
Yeah. And I don't believe we haven't done a podcast on this yet since the funnel's been up.
Nope.
So we need to do that.
Yep. Yeah. There was a super funny moment where he was like, no, but I spent $56 on this button when I meant to push that button. And he was like super sorry and stuff. Okay. First of all, that's really, really funny. And second of all, it was $56. Like, stop. Everything's fine.
I'm so sorry.
It was amazing. Like you can, and I didn't know at one point I was like, well, this relationship is built on 100% perfection. And, so, and then he's like, you get more upset. I'm like, no. I mean, everything's okay. I'm like, I don't know how many different ways you can say it's okay. So then I went with it's okay. And that didn't seem to take. And then I went with, anytime you want to stop feeling bad, that'd be okay with me. And then that didn't really seem like, wow, I don't even know what to do now. So yeah, pretty great.
I can't talk. I'll pay you $56 to stop.
Just stop saying sorry. Yes.
Cool. Well, that's very exciting, Melanie. You've come so far with this funnel. It seems like not out of nowhere, because I know you're working on it a while, but once you decided it was time, you've been like no holds barred.
Just a little weird how that goes. It either took me 3 years to pick out my house, or it took 45 minutes, depending on how you tell the story. In one version of the story, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. for 2 hours, I got a Coke Slurpee and drove around my town looking at the different houses. Oh, I like this roof line. Oh, I like that front door. Oh, I like that driveway. And then in the other part of the story, both stories are true, by the way. One day on a Sunday, I woke up and said, I'm buying a newspaper because I'm buying a house today. And then I called through the newspaper, because this was pre-internet, called through the newspaper until I got someone on the phone. And I said, I would like you to sell me a house. And she said, no, it's Sunday. And I said, fine, we're getting together on Monday. And then she showed me 3 houses, and there was one, it didn't have a picture, but I knew the neighborhood because I'd been driving around for 3 years. So she didn't know where it was. So I drove her to the house. It didn't even have a lockbox on it. 45 minutes later, it was mine. Wow. So yeah, that's kind of how my life is.
One or the other.
Yeah.
So,
usually both.
Are you high on the fact finder?
I not as high as you.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like a 5 or a 6. So most people in this group are higher on the fact finder than me.
Interesting. Cool. Well, that's great. Well, I'm glad you got 2 leads. I can't wait to hear how many you'll have next week. Hoping more. I bet more than 4.
Yeah. We're going for the big numbers now.
Did you guys did he give you an expectation for, what it'll look like when it's humming along, when things are proven and keywords are dialed in and all that?
I know that one of his other clients is steadily bringing in 16 a week for this obscure thing he does. And that would be too many for what I need to do. So the next conversation was, is there a temporary off switch?
Yeah.
And so there is. So that will be fine.
So 16 a week would be too many because what? There's a human automation part of this?
Right. Because the current offer is either join my class and or work with me privately. And I don't want 80 people a month who would potentially want to work with me.
Yeah, but what if there was 100 and only 2 said yes? Wouldn't it be still good to have 88, 98 leads that might be a future?
Yeah. I think this falls into the category of good problems.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, let's book our podcast and talk all about it.
Okay.
And let people listen to it.
Okay.
That's a thing too.
That's a thing that can happen. Very exciting.
That's another part of this whole crazy Marketing scheme.
Crazy world we live in.
All right. Awesome. Great work.
Thank you. And then the only other thing that's going on is I started a super simple, please Melanie, don't overthink this project for a client on, it's a getting ready for baby thing.
Yeah.
And so I printed the research materials and then I thought, this is actually dumb. I don't really need to read this book except to sanity check to make sure they're not saying something that's really awful. So the entire thing for the next 2 weeks will be, hey Mel, is that thing done yet? Please don't overthink it.
Nice. And what's the product there?
It's a book.
Oh, okay.
He wants a sales page for a book and then he wants a cute little email sequence. I can do that.
Very nice. Good. All right. Good check-in.
Thank you.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Who's next? Who's itching to
I
go?
need to go next. I have to go in 35 minutes. Can you hear me?
Okay, Allison.
Okay. So
Hidden
I'm
Allison.
leaving for the
Wait,
airport
didn't you go to
soon.
didn't you go to Minnesota recently?
No, that's not until late December
Ah, okay.
when it's the coldest.
I
It'll be
thought
great.
you were going during Thanksgiving, and I was seeing those storms. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be tragic."
Oh, well, it won't be better in December.
Hopefully, it won't be like crazy ass storm bad, but
I don't
okay,
know.
cool.
We'll see. But I'm going on a real ass vacation soon, and I had all of these plans to like maybe outline my course for CXL and do all this writing, but like really, I just need to chill the fuck out. Like, remember how I said a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was a month ago, and I was like, yeah, things are great. I'm like not working that hard. It's been completely different, and it's just been kind of crazy in that way. So it'd be really nice it'll be nice to just like take a step away. And at the same time, I've been in this little reflective mode, just because it's like, what do I want my offer to evolve into?
Mm-hmm.
Because with right now, with the avatar stuff, like that's great, but you know, it needs to be something that's results focused. But with the results focused, there could be multiple things. There could be GR funnels, split testing, lead magnets, some sort of like mini funnel kind of thing. And there's a lot of those. And I've just been like really questioning if I even want to work with the DR health businesses, even if I didn't have a non-compete. Would I still want to work with them long term? I don't know. Probably not. Can't say for sure, but like 70% sure I don't want to. So just doing a lot of thinking about that this week. That'll be my thing this week to do, is like just think and not like force myself to do any kind of tons of writing or like outlining and all that stuff.
Yeah, just have some white space.
January is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
And
are you super busy because of the Sherpa stuff? Like all of a sudden, is that the thing? Or?
Yeah, and it's like weird. It's like the more engaged I am in the work I'm doing with them, the more stressed out I get. When it's like the less I care about it, then the less stressed I am, but also like the less that things get done. So I just have to like walk this line of not being too into it and not stressing out about it too much versus like not giving a fuck at all, because I don't.
Right.
I need to do good work still.
That's so funny. How many people have these problems at their jobs? It's usually like I can't find it in me to give a fuck at all, and it's someday I'm gonna get fired. It's most people's dilemma, or they care way too much.
I got over the fear of getting fired just because, I mean, I could pick up some consulting too, but also if I really, really wanted another full-time thing, I could just work with V-Shred if I really, really wanted to. I don't, but I could, and it would be slightly better because it wouldn't be Mark.
Right. Okay, cool. All right, so when's your vacation?
I leave for the airport in 30 minutes. So I just want to hop on here. So.
Oh, sweet. So you're like right now, heading out.
Yeah. I was like, there's this really big test that we're launching, and like split tests are like really mini micro launches, but sometimes a test can be a bigger test and therefore it's closer to a bigger project. And there's this one that's just been taking forever, and I was like, yeah, I'll be there to unbottleneck anything, but only in extreme emergencies. But this morning I woke up and I was like, fuck this, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to Hawaii, peace out, like here's the doc, here's the transition, I'll see you Monday.
Yeah, good. Got to manage those expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. How long are you gonna be gone? A week?
Until Saturday. So just enough I need to do my own little launch detox, so
Yeah,
to speak.
sure. Cool. All right. Well, good. Let us know how all those thoughts manifest. And you and I had a good call last week, so there's some things to ponder there, I think.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I'm going to think about, and I'll
Controlling your ass kickery.
I have to kick too many asses, but I just need to choose which ass to kick. I don't know.
That's a good thing to think about in Hawaii. Who's ass to kick? All right, enjoy it. We look forward to hearing all about it.
Thanks.
All right, see it. Cool. What's up? We got Abby, Nick, Chris, April, Rach.
I'll go.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I don't have a ton going on because I'm basically just sprinting to the end of the year with this megalog. So I think this will be my last megalog for a little bit. It just makes me want to cry all the time. So
No.
like it's fine, but I'm done with these for a little bit. So I'm just been writing that and then working on the escape velocity stuff with Kevin, which has been awesome.
Awesome.
And I haven't booked any clients for the rest of the year or January because I want to focus on the escape velocity stuff. But it also so yesterday I had this thing where I did my finances and I couldn't pay myself because I had put the money in the wrong bank and I forgot. And so it freaked me out. And I was like, oh wait, no, it's in there. It's in the other bank.
I thought there was none.
Exactly. I was like, what did I do? How did I screw this up? But it was in another bank. But it just gave me this moment where I was like, I literally have no way to turn on a tap and generate income if I need to. And so that was, I've known that for a while that I need to create products and things like that. But it really was just a good reminder that I really need to get this course out because it's just ridiculous that I don't have any way to make money unless it's go find a client. So I don't anymore. So I'm
especially when people are asking you for what you have.
Right. Yeah. I have people sign up every single day for my wait list for my course. And so it's just stupid. I don't know why I haven't even done it yet, except just overbooking.
Well, yeah, that's why. I know why.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But there's no reason that I couldn't have blocked out that space.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to hire any clients for January. And I've made a commitment to myself. And I think I told you, Laura, Gail, Bronco, and I drunkenly signed this contract that we're all going to release our course by March next year. We were in a bar and we scribbled on this paper and signed this contract.
Got tattoos
and stuff. Yeah. So March 1st, I want to make sure my course is launched properly. And so I'll do a live course then. And so I'm going to just focus all January on escape velocity and creating that and launching it.
Great.
So that's a little bit scary because it's I haven't booked guaranteed income. You know what I mean? But we're launching EV. And so
it's real business owner shit.
I know. That's scary. It's scary when you're oh, wait, the money's got to come from me. What?
Right. You actually have to sell shit to get paid. Wait a minute.
Exactly.
It's usually the client's problem.
Right. Exactly. You give me your money. That's easy. And then I'll just keep it while I do things for you. Yeah. So, but that'll be fun. And then I've just been thinking about 2020. This is pre-coffee, scribbled, mind maps of I was blurry eyed and I was I need money. And so I was just scribbling things this morning. And so I've just kind of started mapping out where I want my time and my revenue to be next year. And so I've just started planning that out because I haven't thought about that in a long time because it's just working.
Great.
Yeah.
Love it. Is it the Magalog? Is it the work itself or just the way that kind of relationship is playing out that's stressing you out more about it?
It's both. It's that these products don't exist. And so there's no testimonials. There's no proof. It's all stuff that they don't give me anything. They want me just to go find information that really needs to come from the manufacturer or
right. Or users.
Like that. There's no proof. Everything's a runaround. Yeah. Or users. Yeah. And so it just sucks. It's not fun. Because everything is like a magic trick. Basically.
Right. Yeah. Very hard to do inspired work when they're like, well, get creative. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just, I really need to be paid double for the amount of time and effort that it gives. And so that sucks.
Yeah, that's a tough one when you make what you think is a very fair request and it's denied, because then there's no other way to feel, but now you're compromised in the relationship. So right.
And now it's great. They pay in full, which is a problem because now I'm like, oh, there's no payoff for doing all this work at the end. So, so yeah, it's just, it just doesn't feel good. And it's like, Angie had the perfect word. It just feels demoralizing to do it. And so, yeah, I think I need a break from these big things. I'm happy to work with them on like some smaller projects. Like we do these inserts that go in a paper. So that stuff, but one of the things on my bubble map is that I want to only do long form copy that pays me more than once. So Brian said it perfectly our last call. He's like, either it's easy or you pay me again and again. And that's basically like my 2020. So
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Cool. Well, it's all very exciting. I'll be glad. When do you plan to be done the Magalog? It was a mid-December deadline or something, right?
Yeah. They're saying things like, oh, well, we'd rather it be done right than be done before the holidays. But I'm like, I'm not doing this.
No.
For the rest of the year and next year. So it's December 22nd. It has to be completely finalized and done. So I've got Kim Schwam. I've got a call with her on Wednesday. We're going to go through it. She's going to look through everything. And then I hired Jim Rutz. His sister Ginger was his copy editor for a long time. Huh. And she met Laura Gall at Titans and wants to start doing copy editing for other copywriters. Oh, cool. So she's got like super low rates right now. So I just figured it'd be great to have a professional copy editor.
Yeah.
So
as far as that, just literally like proofing, that kind of thing.
I'm not quite sure yet. This is going to be kind of a test run. But I've been just kind of hammering out like really shitty drafts of each one of these pages one by one.
Right.
And so even if she's just editing so that it doesn't sound terrible, that would be helpful for me.
Right.
So
that'd be a good company name for her. Less Terrible Copy.
Less Terrible Copy.
By Ginger Rutz.
Yeah. And she's a bit intense. And so I'm imagining her editing is going to be along the same level.
All right, cool. Good for you for finding the resources you need to feel better and get it done.
Oh yeah. I'm all about like shifting responsibility these days.
Me too, oddly. Which is a trickle-down effect, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool. Good stuff, Rachel. We are zipping along. We're going to like break records here, man. This is crazy. Everybody's like, end of year, just leave me alone, Kev.
Yeah, I'll go. Cool. So it's funny. It's like listening to Rachel. It's like we're in very similar places. It feels like. So yeah, I've been like working like mad on this course, and it's whenever I have time because it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's hard, like think through everything, and I'm building slides, and I'm building my scripts, and I'm doing all that stuff. So, but like right now, Paris still has my vision formula leads, so I'm like, just keep them because once they come back to me, then I got to start working on those again. So I'm taking advantage of this opportunity to like really use this time for me. And yeah, like I've been posting a lot in my super journal about, my efforts to grow my list and, what's happening with everything. I feel like it's so funny because it's like, I feel like I'm not getting anywhere until I put it all down and I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm still, I know it's just a matter of time, but I think I lost 2 people on my list. I don't know. It got like a bounce back or something. And I'm like, no,
somebody left your list.
It's like that scene in the Titanic, right? When Rose is like clutching onto the iceberg and Jack is like, slipping down into the water. She's, Jack, come back. That's what I feel like. It's that's like hilarious. So hard, but then some people just start popping in every now and then, and I'm like, I don't even know where they came from. This is really cool. So And
Yeah, that's funny. It makes me think there's like a progression to this, right? In the beginning, it's like just getting an unsubscribe or a bad email or something is like, no, it's like a personal offense, right? And then it's somebody quits, like a membership, and you're like, I swore I wouldn't care, but not you, right?
Yeah.
And then as we've all seen, like then you get a chargeback, right? Like somebody, and that's just like a total different kind of flip out, like
Oh my God.
so personal, and so there's a progression to these offenses, Nicole. So
All right. Oh, thanks for the warning.
You're easing your way into, yes, yeah. It's a badge of honor.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, the other thing is, so like so the big thing was, if you're on my list, you get priority for a core critique, right? So I sent out my, you can have a free website audit email Monday, and I got like a 12% open rate so far, which, whatever. But no one took me up on the offer. I'm like, shit, I thought people would want this. This kind of sucks, especially since they're on my list because they got my core scorecard, right? So I posted it in 2 health coaching groups I'm in. I got kicked out of one. Like, fuck. All right. Because, I'm promoting myself, and I'm like, it's a free service, to help health coaches. That's what this, group is all about. But no, so they kicked me out, but I got a couple of leads on the other. But it's really, and I get it. Like, they don't want to be bombarded with people, pitching their stuff. But, it does make it a little harder to kind of connect with people. So, I'm doing this reach camp. It's so cool having a Facebook person like that I have regular meetings with. I don't even know how, like, I got connected with her. I just got like an email. It's like, would you like a meeting with someone at Facebook? I'm like, yes, please. So I'm doing like this reach campaign. And so that's going on until the 7th. And then she's like, okay, then after that, we're going to go in and we'll do a light campaign, and you'll see stuff starting to happen. So
that's part of the Facebook team.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're advertising, they reach out. Oh, so that I never thought to actually do that. So it's been helpful. Or do they charge you for the service of? Or they just want to make you a happier customer?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I kept thinking it was because my first attempt was just so shitty, and they were probably like, boy, she really needs some help,
Right.
she's willing to spend money, but she's really, really messing up.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so that's, but, so like right now I'm doing so much of that, just trying to get people. And now it's funny because Claire's like, you really need a group instead of a page. I'm like, oh shit. So now it's something else that I need instead of what I've got. So this is such a beast, like this whole thing of just trying to like build this thing. And the whole point of this is to have enough people so that when I launch my course, I'll have people to launch it to. I'll have some people to tell about it. Yeah. So, but I feel like this is the heavy lifting that I have to do.
Yeah, it is. And you're doing a great job at it. What's the list size now?
Well, 60 minus 2. That would be 58.
Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, I wouldn't beat yourself up too hard over not getting sales at that size, And I wonder if the person that kicked you out, do you think if you'd have gone to them and asked permission first, they would have been receptive? Or is it just not that kind of group at all?
Well, it's funny because when I first joined the group, she actually didn't accept, or she thought she didn't accept me in the group. And this was like back in August or something. And I said, because she's like, this is just for health coaches. It's okay. I'm not a health coach, but I work really closely with health coaches and I help them build their business. She's like, sorry, it's just for health coaches. And I'm like, all right, fine. But then she never took me out of the group. I was like in the group.
Wow.
So I was like posting some things. I was helping people, I was being helpful, right?
You're giving value, yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, since I'm basically just saying, hey, do you want a free, website audit? And then she's like, out. Fine. F you.
Okay, that's all right. Well, why waste your time in that group if you can't sell them anything?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, then I'm not gonna, give you any of my expertise then.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's other ways to do it. I guess less directly, but
yeah. So I think, I'll keep working on, getting my likes to this page, and then I'll have to start a group. So there's so much to do right now, as there's always the case when you're like in the beginning stages. But anyway, so enough about that. I'm like working my ass off, and hopefully it's going to pay off. I really want to do, because I'm doing the beta test in February, and hopefully I can launch twice next year. Real launches, and that'll give me time to build my list and all that. So that's cool. The thing with Yuri is just, it's awesome. Someone posted, in our Slack channel, like someone gave some amazing feedback about me, and like, this is perfect for my website. So this is like, and it's just, I can't get over the difference it makes. It's like, what Angie, you were saying, like the 20 minutes, your 20-minute call and you're done. It is so awesome. That's the way I want to work. I'll write for Paris. I'll kill myself for him. But then I want this other stuff where I'm just coaching people. My God, yeah. I sound like you guys a year ago. This is so funny. But I like to write. Not anymore.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Just wait, Nicole. You'll get here.
Yeah.
Hey, let's ask in the comments, Angie and Chris are saying you should consider a seed launch. Chris, or Angie, you want to talk about what you mean there?
Yeah, Nicole, you're making this way too complicated. Like, even for the growing your list, like I wrote that article, I think I sent it to you, like make a post on Facebook, say you got this thing, tell people to comment, message each one of them individually. You'll double your list in a day. After that, do a seed launch. Hey, I'm doing this thing. Here's a little bit about it. Here's a link to the order form. Sell it, then create it. Because otherwise you might spend 3 months doing this and launch it, and then no one buys. People could buy, right? I'm not saying no one's going to buy, but what if they don't buy, and then you spend 3 months chasing something that, the best way to validate it is to sell it first, not to say, hey, do you want this, to be like, well, do you actually want to pay me right now for this? And then it's easy, because then you could say, hey, here's the result I'm going to get you. So this is the big idea. Like, do you want this result? Yes, you'll pay me X amount for this result. And then in order to get them the result, it's just saying, okay, here's the 5 steps or 3 steps or 8 steps or whatever the hell it is. And then each step, you just say, hey, what are your questions about step 1? What are your questions about step 2? Like for me, it was like, what are your questions about market research? Okay. People send in their questions. I create the first week of content. I deliver it. Q&A to wrap up anything. Then I give them a survey for week 2. It's like dead simple. It works. And you get paid to create it. You get all the money beforehand. And then for a fact that people actually want it. Because the worst thing you could do is spend 3, 4, 5, 6 months and you work your ass off, and it's not even like just the time; it's the emotional effort and bandwidth.
Yeah. Well, I did vet the course idea. So I talked to a bunch of people who would have been like, "Oh my God, if there was something like that, that would have been."
Yeah, but getting them to pull out their wallets and pay is the real validation,
Yeah. I'm so scared to do that. Like, just when I see how much time it takes me to do what I'm doing, like if I had people who've already paid me for it.
No, you'll find a way, because then, it's how I launched RFL, same exact way. It was like, I just have to stick to this plan. And I couldn't even tell people what we would cover it was only 4 weeks at that time, but I specifically, I did one-on-one calls and pitched it in a way where it was just, you're here, you want to be here, I'm the bridge to get you there. Trust me, let's do this. 4 weeks, $4,000. And couldn't tell them one bit about the curriculum because I didn't know it yet. I made it up week by week. So it's a good way to, the knowledge is in your head, and we typically do them in this group around 500s like Ross did. It's a nice price to get people to pay attention, and they're not expecting over the moon stuff. They know it's beta. You tell them it's beta. It's going to become a course. They're going to get more hand holding and attention from you than they would any other way. and no one will ever get it as cheap. You can promise all those things and be legit. But Chris is 100% right. It's kind of what we talked about a while ago. It's like, yeah, I'm all for making a course, but the easiest way to do it is to vet it and then just force yourself into delivering it. Because I would still recommend doing a beta once you get the curriculum down, like you're saying. But as far as like creating the actual course that's ready to deliver without going through a beta group, I think is kind of crazy, because there's just no way to know for sure what's resonating. What did people do? What did they take from it? What did they use? What did they struggle with? Like Rachel and I just did with EV, like what we know now compared to what we assumed going in. I wouldn't say it's night and day, but it's pretty staggering what you learn.
You know, what this is making me think of is like when I was in the corporate world, I'm not trying to speak for any of the women here, but I saw this a lot as a male-female thing. Guys always raise their hand. They say, yeah, I could do that, even though they've never done it before. They have no idea what they're going to do. And they're just like, yep, cool, I'll figure it out. Whereas women a lot of times tend to be like, I have to prove it to myself first that I can do this, and then I'll raise my hand. And, you know, man, I
don't know if it's a male-female thing as much. I'd say I'm more like you.
It's just me. I
will say this, like I knew I could get people the result, and I knew I could give them a lot of value. I was really confident in that, you know. But the truth of it is that I'd paid Jesse Elder a good amount of money to spend 3 days at his house for him to teach me this, and I was going to use it. I wanted to, you know, realize my investment, and the rest is history. It forced me into some uncomfortable protocols that I normally wouldn't do, you know. Kind of, it was the most salesy thing I ever kind of did, but none of it was insincere. But I just promised myself I'd stick to the script, you know. So
right.
I think it would be good for you to just put yourself out there and make this promise. And if you took 8 or 10 or 12 people through a 4 or 6 week thing, I mean, if you just think about what can I promise that we can accomplish if they do the work over that time, if nothing else, they're going to know how to do the steps, even if they can't all get it done in all that time. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. So I feel like with my outline, I've kind of got the whole thing outlined. So now it's just like building the content. So
well, I think that's what Kev's saying is like when building the content as you go. Like I can't imagine what the codex would have been like if I had recorded the videos, and like the things that people got stuck on, or the things that people wanted more of, and the things that people didn't really care about or that they skimmed over. Like Mike, I ran through it twice live before I ever recorded it, and I even recorded it when it was live too, just because it was easier for me to deliver. But I can't imagine sitting down and scripting out all that before I had any idea what the questions are. Like that'll just give you all the content will come from just people saying, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about that thing? Right. Or you'll be shocked at like the small technical things that people will be like, I really don't understand that. Can you go back over it? Like the tiniest, simplest things that I thought that were really self-explanatory, like ended up being like half-hour videos.
Yeah, and I suspect if I'm reading between the lines that there's a little bit of head trash here around taking money first and not knowing whether you can deliver later. 30 years of branding experience. Let's remind you of who you are, right? That what Kevin said, if it's a low cost, which people in our industry, $500 is a no-brainer for most people that need branding help. That's like an hour on the phone with a high-level consultant. So come on, like $500 for a couple weeks with you to help you co-create, and think of it that way, co-create a course. You are working directly with the people who need you most to create something that you can use over and over and over again. So if that head trash is there, please kick it to the curb. You are creating something of value, and you don't have to create it beforehand.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, please.
A course is just you documenting how to get a result, right? So like in terms of, there's like 2 kinds of courses. There's like a course and there's like a mini course, right? So like you could do, like my Email Copy Academy is a fucking behemoth. It's 20 something hours of video. It was a bitch to create, and I don't ever want to do one like that again. Granted, it's paid off, but that was 6 weeks of hell. So I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, you just do some shit and it's fucking sucked for a month and a half. You know, like that was my baby for the first few months of this year. But on the other hand, if the goal is just to get a course out there, just start with a $99 mini course. Like I had this sales letter framework. It's like 20 steps. After like doing this like so many times, I was like, I just do the same shit every time. So I like wrote it down internally for myself. And then I was like, oh, maybe I could like make a course out of this and like go through some examples. So I have this product. It's called Quick and Nerdy Sales Letters. It's $99. And I just did a Black Friday sale and I gave people 30% discount. I sold 35 of them over the weekend, right? I mean, it's not the most money in the world. I'm not going to go retire to the Amalfi Coast with that, right? But if the goal is just to get a course out there and you can make an extra $1,000, $2,000 every month from it, then make it a $99 thing or a $49 thing. Say, what's one result that I could get, a tiny little result, solve one problem for people, and then make it a mini course. And it's an hour recording. It's a 90-minute recording. You could chop it up if you want. You don't have to. It could be one freaking video that's an hour long, as long as it gets people a result. Like, would you trade $99 to get a certain result?
Right. Okay. I like that idea. All right. So I'm taking this all in, guys, and it's really helpful. So I really appreciate it. I'm thinking, again, like I need to buy myself some time with the holidays. Like I can start all this like right after Christmas, where I can
do it immediately.
Pardon me?
You don't have to do it immediately. I don't think we're worried about when you do this part. We're worried about you doing all the other parts first and then finding out half of it is less valuable than you discovered when you coach people through this, you know?
Right.
And that's the, the risk in going the course stuff. Like everything is instructive, but this will be the most instructive thing you do. And you've got you know how to build a course. You went through that. It doesn't mean you have to now stop and build a course. You know, frankly, there's different uses for different things, but I think teaching people to build a course and then figure out how to go sell it is really crazy. You know, like we're in direct response. We get to test ideas. We get to do all these things because we have an open line of communication with our market, right? And right now you're still kind of building that market and finding out exactly who it's for. You know, that the health coaches, if you can't get, a handful of health coaches to commit to this, if it's all about, like Chris said, the result, you're documenting how to get them a result. So what is the result they want more than anything? And just make that the goal of the 4, 6 weeks, whatever. So you don't have to vet the entire curriculum, but it's like, what is it like to get people that go using a lot of the stuff you're assembling for this course?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And I don't think you need to launch that before Christmas. There's, a lot of noise and everything out there, but I'm telling you, like Abby said, like it'll be, you just can never know where people are going to get hung up and what they're going to want more of. It's just like every time I've done this, I'm always surprised.
Right.
What you hear yourself talking about, what comes out of you when you're on a live mic. You know what I mean? That you wouldn't have even thought to say because you're responding to somebody. It's just a different energy.
Yeah.
In real time.
Well, the good thing is it's like a lot, like the first chunk of the course is really about helping them come up with who their perfect client is, the problem pain they're solving, their signature system. So these are all things that I'm doing every week with a gazillion people through HBA. So I feel like I've already done this a lot, which is good. So I have like, a certain level of confidence. Actually, I've got a really high level of confidence of being able to do all this stuff on the fly with people.
Yeah.
So I'm just not, I'm not, I guess the thing is, so Chris, where'd you go? They're over there now. Were you doing it all live with them or, okay. So there weren't like videos or anything for them?
There was an order form with a payment link and I collected $16,500 and then said, I have to go make a course now. So I had an outline on a piece of paper. I went to Panera Bread one day and took a pad and a pen, and I just said, okay, how do I teach someone how to like be a good email copywriter? Like they got to research. I made some worksheets and shit. You don't have to do all that. But like I've been through people's courses, like guys like Ben Settle and Ryan Lee, and I love those guys. I've learned so much from them. But like I've bought courses from them, and it's like they'll have 6 slides with like 1 word each on them, and they'll talk. And like honestly, it's a lot of the same shit that they talk about like on their podcast and everything. I'm like, wow, I just spent $300 for that. Like the bar for courses is actually very fucking low. If you can just think about what's the result, and this is something that through Kevin and everyone in here and Ross has just fucking drilled in my head. What's the result? Work backwards. That's it. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, end with the result, right? Like if you do all 5 of these things, here's the formula to do each mini step. Here's some examples. Now here's the homework and go try it, right?
Right.
So I went through Frank Kern's courses, his $3,000 webinar course. He's like, all right, so like here's the first part of the webinar. You say this, you say this, you say this, you say this. Any questions? Cool, moving on. Next part of the webinar, you say this, you say this, you say that, and he like walks you through the steps. Okay, here's how to do the emails. So you go into Infusionsoft, you click this button, you do it. Like it's literally like it's a SOP. It's a standard operating procedure, right? That's what the best courses really are. I'm not saying mine. I learned that kind of after doing Email Copy Academy. I guess I lucked into it for that first one. But now for every other course I create, because I've been through that process the first time, I know how to create a course or an offer that will do well. So like you're going to fumble your way through this first one. And in terms of like what Angie was saying about the head trash, about like accepting money and not having a result, every copy project you ever get paid for in advance, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's a course or if it's a sales letter or if it's a video script or whatever the hell it is. I mean, I wrote this in the comments. I said, my entire life is accepting money from people up front, being super non-negotiable and being a dickhead about that and being like, I'm not starting until I get every single penny of that fee. And then immediately being like, oh, fuck, now I have to go figure out how to like do this webinar, do this whatever, So yeah, it's scary and yeah, you're on the hook, but like being on the hook is what forces you to get it done. Because you'll never get it done unless you accept that. I mean, you might. I don't know. Maybe you're 1% of people who can, but like, accept the money first, and then it forces you, and you just fucking get it done, and you do it.
Right. So I just want to make sure I understand. Like, did you have like a bunch of people on a Zoom call, and you were kind of like going through it? Okay.
Yeah. I just created slides, and I overwrote the shit out of my slides. Like, you could just do pictures, screenshots, examples, like, hey, here's one slide could be a title of a concept and you talk about it, because you don't need to put every single word in the slide. And this is also after doing it. You put the title of whatever the concept is, you put the formula on the next slide, you put 3 examples, and then here's what you go do now. Or at the end of each one, you have homework, right?
Right.
Like for the first few months, ECA was 6 2.5-hour videos. And then finally, once I got Jennifer and Ashley and them to chop it up into smaller videos. So now you go into the menu and it's like this long list of content. But before that, it was 6 just long ass videos that people just went through before I, chopped it up and made it look like a real course. But it's literally
that's what you did in RFL too, right? Like when you went through RFL, it was just like Zoom videos and you just walked through it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, a lot to think about. Kevin, where can I get the recording of this? Do you post them in the group?
Yeah, we post them every week. Yep.
Okay.
There's 6 payments of.
It starts just about at a little bit before the 1 hour mark.
Okay.
Probably right at the 1 hour mark, because I didn't start recording immediately. So just to help you.
Fun fact: Ian Stanley sold a course. I think it was $97. The promo tab course. I bought it. It's literally a 15-minute video. Like, that's it. That's the only thing in there. And it's valuable because it gets the result that you want. It's like, it's how he tests his way out of a promo tab. And like, it was stuff I didn't know. So it was like worth the $97, but it just made me laugh because I was like, I just paid $100 for Ian Stanley to stand in front of a whiteboard for 15 minutes. It was like $14.45 or something for the video. I was like, all right.
Whenever I buy something from him, I always get so mad because it's always so basic. And I was like, I know that you made $100,000 off of this thing. I know that you got like a shit ton of people to buy this and that you made so much money. And I'm like agonizing.
I don't know.
Little things.
I don't know. I think his course should be how to make people think you made $100,000 on every offer you made. I think that's his real secret.
Well, all right, you guys, I'm going to catch up on the chat here. Thank you so much. I will.
Yeah, Nicole. Look, yeah, like as your brothers and sisters and your papa, will all but insist you do this for yourself, because I know it's scary, but you'll be so glad. There's another corner I can see around. We all can. Like, you're going to come on a call and go, how did I almost not beta this thing? You know, you'll see it's not as scary. Like you said, you know how to do this. And unlike other, you know, the people aren't going to have the reaction Chris has to some of those courses. They're going to, because you're there, they're getting your time, you're going to do it live. You want that feedback, you want that interaction. I think it's worth doing them live because, again, you'll just say things differently. And what's up, KC? And, you know, and look, and I was, who was, about Ian's thing. I've only returned an info product once in my life. And it was in the early days. And it was a book that fucking Bob Bly sold me. The promise was so far from what the book was that it was just like, I don't even I thought I made a mistake. Did they send me the wrong book based on the ad? Like, it was just asinine. And I was like, man, I'm sorry. I know it's only $27 or whatever, but this is just not at all what I wanted. And
that's funny. I had the same experience with Bob Bly. Really? It was like how to send a proposal, and it had like fax instructions in there. I was like, what is this? It was like 4 or 5 years ago I bought it. It was like how to get them to fax over the proposal right away.
Oh like, my God. That guy, yeah. He's prolific, no doubt about it.
All right.
So anyway, yeah. All right, good, Nicole.
Thank you.
Stuff. Yep. All right. Abby, Chris, Melanie.
I don't know. I don't have anything really. I just gotta make decisions. Maston wants me to go to LA on Saturday, and I'm like, I don't know. I just keep saying the same thing over and over again. I'm like, I just gotta stop working with him. But I feel like it's like he's like an abusive spouse. Like he like makes me so angry, and then he's so nice to me afterwards, and I'm like, maybe it was kind of my fault. And like, and then he's so great. And then like at this point, I'm like, but he really needs me. Like, I had this call with him like right before this call, and he was like, we really like, we can't do it without you this weekend. And I'm like, so I don't know. I just
does he, you know, make it irresistible for you to go? Is he offering like to pay you more or whatever? I mean, if they can't do it without you and you don't want to go and it's not in your contract to go, does he respect that? And
yeah, if I said no, he would be like, I think he'd be disappointed, but he'd be okay with it. Like, I haven't gotten back to him on if I'm doing it or not. But and yeah, he always makes things really worthwhile. Like, he'll fly me out first class, he'll put me up in a nice hotel room, and then I get a percentage of sales, so I know that it's true also if I'm in the room that I can close more sales, and so that's more money in my pocket. And yeah, so
that's fair.
Yeah, he's fair. It's definitely fair. It's just, I don't know. I got other shit I want to do, and I feel like I'm dedicating a lot of time to him, and I'm getting paid well, and so that's why it's making the decision so difficult, because if it was like where it wasn't worth my time, then it'd be easy. But you know, I'm getting paid well, and it's just taking my focus away from kind of my other goals.
Yeah, so. I know, it's funny. It's the kind of shit you cannot bitch about on Facebook.
Yeah, he's great.
These are good problems, but they are problems. You know, it's kind of the golden handcuff thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what it is, because it's just, and the thought of like turning off that revenue stream is like, it's crazy. You know, it's like I think about. I keep putting myself in like my shoes, like, you know, 8-10 years ago too, and I'm like, if I told myself 10 years ago that I had this job and I was getting paid this much and I was working from wherever I want and I was like doing work that I want to do and I was able to travel, all this stuff, and the amount of money that I'm getting paid, like, I'd be like, what the hell is the matter with you? Like, you have nothing to complain about. And so I'm just back and forth on, and it's funny because Casey's in the same boat with it too, because Casey's now got his own role on the team, and so we're like have separate roles and together roles on the team, and so it's like we just, both of us go back and forth, like one day to the next we're like, we gotta just stop working for him, and then the next day we're both like, He's
Are we
all right.
crazy? Yeah, drive past a homeless person or something. Yeah, maybe LA's nice this time of year.
Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, that's all I'm dealing with right now. So
Well, like, let me ask you this: if you did stop working for him, do you know clearly what you would want to put that energy towards, and what that result is?
yeah, so there's a couple things, like just kind of doubling down on the co-op and like what it is and how to promote it. So my list is growing like really, really well. I was just talking to Chris about this actually. My list is growing really well, but I haven't done a lot with the leads that I have, and I haven't been able to convert those. Like, I haven't gotten ROI on my list growth yet. I mean, they're engaging and the open rates are still really high, and so that's really cool. And so it's just like really trying to figure out what the co-op is, how to promote it. I'm going to do a tax workshop. The same guy that did the tax workshop with me last year that saved April all that money on her taxes has agreed to do it next week, which was a really good promotion at the end of the year. Last year was like updates for freelancers. And so there's a lot of, I mean, I have a list a mile long of like improvements to the co-op, improvements to the marketing, retention, all these things. Like I have a lot of things, but as far as like what the result is, I mean, this is what we've all been talking about, right? Is like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I know if I keep working with Maston, what my check's going to look like every month. I don't know
Right.
when I do all my own stuff, what that's
Yeah, that's the hardest part, isn't it? It's like, if we all knew what we were giving up, it'd be easy to give it up.
Yeah, exactly. If I could say, oh, perfect, here's how many people I could get into the co-op next month if I had an extra 20 hours a week, but I don't know what that looks like. So I think that's part of the resistance. Like, do I think I'm going to starve if I stop like working with Maston? No, like I'll be able to make money, but will I be able to replace that? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. That's where I was in 2016 when I had to fire clients and go all in, and it was a fucking scary year. I don't lie about that. It was like a lot of long dog walks, but that's where the most innovation happened and all these things. So that's good. Yeah. We can't know. I wish, it's not like you've built this other thing and then, oh my God, I'm neglecting it. If I went back and did those things. And sometimes what's in our mind and what's our reality can be so different. I think I was just telling Chris that I had it in my head that Copy Chief membership, that there was a huge imbalance between the revenue from Copy Chief membership compared to the expense of running it, especially with contractors. And it just seems like there's all this work we do. And I thought, the coaching programs are that's where my passion is. And it's, takes less time and people are more engaged and the revenue is probably 2 to 1, and then Mary pulled up the numbers and it was not at all that fucking way. The membership is still easily the revenue, the heart of the revenue. And it was like, I was telling Chris, it was like, oh, my bad. Sorry. Hey, Copy Chief, come over here. What are you? We haven't taken a good walk in a while. Come here, and it's like all of a sudden my attitude changes about it just because I had it in my head that it was another way. It was just an assumption based on loose numbers, and so I don't know. There's not maybe another thing, but maybe if there's some math you can do to go, well, if there's real goals that, very logically based on things you've done before, could you double down on codecs, right? And like, surely there's like a ton more audience for that, so it'd just be interesting to like really force yourself to put it in black and white if possible. Where would I put that energy? Would I enjoy that more? Would that lead me closer to getting the co-op to be what I want it to be? Would that be a reason to bring people into town for workshops and things, like what would it take for that to happen? And then maybe it's an easier comparison then.
Yeah. And I just like the other thing that just makes me crazy is like the launch model that Maston has is like, he's getting so much from cold traffic and like he's bringing people to events and then he closes them in the room on the other things, and I'm like, why? I'm doing all this work for him, and I'm like, I could do this for me, like have the lion's share of what, because I like running live events. Like Maston's really similar to me in that way. I think that's why I like working with him so much. Like we're very similar in a lot of ways, but he's similar to me in that like he hates doing recorded courses, so he just does live in-room sales. Like that's what his whole business is going to be now. I'm like, wow, like I could run workshops all the time just like he does and just do them here. And so I don't know, it's just, I just gotta make decisions and decide what I want to do, because I'm just kind of running on like, well, this is working all right, so let me just keep doing that. So
Yeah, I get it. Is it possible to step down a little your responsibilities with him and like balance it that way?
see, that was the original plan. Like I think the combination of Maston's personality and my personality is like, I hate letting people down, and I love the ego boost of being like the only person that can do stuff. And
Yeah.
Maston Maston has a hard time trusting people, so when he has somebody that he can trust, he'll give them more and more work. And so nothing but there's been nothing but like growth in my role with Maston, and I think I could step down. I joked around because there's the content and like other marketing person on his team is this guy Dylan, who's worked with Maston on and off for like 8 years, and he quits every year, and I call it a Dylan quit because that's his name. And so I told him the other day, I was like, I did a Dylan quit because I got on the phone with Maston before Phoenix and was like, I can't do this anymore. And then Maston's like really good at saying like, okay, like, well, let's see a role that makes sense for you. And then for like a month, like things calm down. And then they just ramp back up because, hey, just this one time, like that was the deal, was like no more travel after Phoenix until
Right.
the end of January.
Right.
And so it was just like, well, it's just this one thing, like, so I don't know. I don't think it would be possible. I think with Maston, it's like a all or nothing kind of deal, just because the way we work together.
Yep. Get it. Cool. All right. I know you figure it out, but we're all here for you.
Yeah, no, thanks, guys.
All right, good stuff. Cool. April, I forgot to mention too. We still haven't heard from April.
Yeah, I'll go. I'm just not sure what to talk about because I'm just getting back from camping and still not really in a work headspace yet. But
yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, so I started working on some content ideas that are around the control freaks idea. And so I had a very long drive out into the desert. And so I had some time to think about that. And I've got a list that I'm pretty happy with. So I'm going to start working on that content. I had started a sequence of videos for First 7 Days formula. And part of me was like, I need to finish it. And part of me is like, I don't care. I want to start on this other stuff more.
Right.
So I think I might do that. Just put that other thing on pause. It's just on YouTube. I don't even think anyone's following along. No one cares. So
You're talking about the 7-day stuff?
Yeah. So what I did, I was like trying to come up with content ideas for that. And I was like, well, why don't I do a short video that kind of explains each part of the formula? So like one for on connection, one for USP, one for whatever, and then go through each of those. But I just would rather do this other stuff. So
yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what Papa Kev thinks about that.
I know. I need to just turn that into a mini product. I think that would make me really happy because I'd have it there. I do get people that are asking me about it. They can't ever afford to hire me for it. They're not fit for that. And then they're kind of just wanting like a little bit of guidance with it, which I don't really like. I'm not going to do that just for free, like helping you out with your sequence. But I'd like to have something I can direct people to. So that needs to be high on the list.
Because it's really good authority. That's an interesting thing, right? Like a mini course as an authority thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you break even on putting people through it essentially, and it doesn't take effort from you, like if you could get a Facebook funnel going or something,
Right.
It just, you could be building leads and, buyer leads. And it's one more, having a course and things like that is great authority.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
then it'll get me into the course building thing that I don't want to.
Yeah, again, it's almost like I'm being a hypocrite because I just told Nicole to do it the other way. But I think it's different. I think the 7-day thing is more of a step. It's so much a step one service, whereas
Yeah.
Nicole is,
And I also think because I already systemized that as I was creating it, I created a system where you have a questionnaire. The questionnaire, like you fill out that out, and each of those questions corresponds to a certain email. So it becomes kind of like a fill in the blank thing. So I
right.
feel like I just need to sell that
Yeah.
to people and maybe add some
Yeah, if you've built
video.
all that, you got to get it in front of people.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. So for 2020, it's going to be about like turning the first 7 days into something like that, where it's like a little one-off thing, and rolling out this content for control freaks to see how much interest there is around some of these things, and hopefully getting a pilot program set up for that.
Yeah. What did you what were you thinking of charging for control freaks?
You and I had talked about a founder's price of, I think it was like, did it come out like $334? We were saying like $1,000 for the first 3 months.
Wow.
So whatever that is, yeah, $334.
Fucking bargain.
And then obviously going up from there, because why not?
Yeah, I was telling Mike about it, and that's the first question he asked. What's he charging for that?
What did he say?
That's a good sign. I couldn't remember.
You couldn't remember? Okay. Yeah, I was curious. Yeah, so I have a lot of ideas for that, and I'm really excited about it. And then I'm still doing the copy chiefing with Danny, which is just like super simple, easy work. I don't think I would want to take on anybody else though, because I just don't feel like most people are going to be as organized and have their shit together as much as Danny does. So that's probably just going to be something that I do until I have my own thing taking off more. And then I've wrapped up a lot of stuff, which feels really good. Like the client that I mentioned before that I said was a good client for a different part of my career. And I'd love to find somebody to hand them off to, but I haven't found that person. I wrapped up that project, which feels awesome. So no more work with that client. I can't get sucked back into that one.
Right.
Because I hate myself every time I do it. So yeah, I've got that. I wrapped up the advertorial with Michael, that you introed me to, Kevin.
Oh, okay, cool. How'd that go?
So I haven't heard back about the copy. He paid my second half of my invoice though, so that's awesome. He didn't have any feedback on that. He said we're just waiting to hear back from legal. So I don't know if that means he had no changes, but that's where we're at with that.
Okay, cool. I'm good.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wrapped a lot of things up, and I'm excited to do that. And then I just have to be careful about not taking on a bunch of smaller projects that I don't really want to be doing.
Right. Okay. Cool. So yeah, I think so any hesitation on launching Control Freaks? Like, when do you plan to beta that?
That's a really good question. What would be like reasonable without just trying to like drag it out too long? Like I don't want to wait forever. I want to move on it quickly, but I also don't want to be like, oh, I'll do it in 3 weeks when that clearly isn't.
I would just, what do you need in place to do it? You don't need a sales letter necessarily, but you need if you 9-worded it, you could get the word out in various ways on Facebook to your list. We could do another podcast about it. You could put it in your signature in Copy Chief. I think that'd be a good way to do it. And I would take applications, and that alone will be instructive. This is something people would definitely need to apply for,
Right. Yeah.
And so, and then I would, maybe, like we talked about, do a little bit of authority content about this, about breakdowns, and finding out how they're resonating, what excites people about it, because I think everybody knows that people tend to do one or two things. They either, like you said, feel like they should be doing more of it, or they're doing it because they were told they needed to do it, but they don't know if they're actually, it's instructive anymore, you know? So
Right.
it's the idea of, you know what you're even looking at when you're reading controls. Everybody hears that. Read a control a week, the Benzavega advice. Read a control a week. But if you don't have Paris showing you what to look for,
Right.
and again, that's kind of the appeal that can't be the direct appeal. It's like learn secondhand from Paris through me, kind of it, you know.
The next
Not that
best
that's
thing
what
to
you're saying.
Paris.
Well, you know, obviously it's you but that was the original thing that's so
Right.
valid. It's like everybody would love to be a Paris Cub, but you can't get in.
Yeah.
So here's kind of, you know.
Yeah, and there's a lot to it. Like there's even like, what if you're studying a shitty control? Like, you know.
Right. How do you even know
So-
it's a valid control?
Right.
What were the, and again, just how much more of an educated marketer that makes you is
Yeah.
so valuable for a freelancer. So, so what's, to me, I don't know, February makes a lot of sense to promote this in January and start it maybe in February, like a February 15th, like maybe right after we all come to your town. We all come.
Oh yeah.
Definitely have a hot seat.
Yeah, it would be really, really cool if your hot seat was about, all right, I've got these however many people, now let's focus on how I want to run this thing and what did I learn from the responses I got, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe make that your Valentine's Day deadline.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
So April, I have a question for you. Are you going to be, are you thinking of like having maybe, you know, Facebook Lives with guests, that sort of thing? Like, you know, it would be really cool. Like I'm in the midst of hand copying one of Henry's promotions and I'm getting so much out of it. So I don't know if you're going to have something where you're like, you know, talk about the promotion with the writer.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm write that one down. I like that, Nicole. Thanks.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I mean, you guys aren't gonna be able to see this, but it's like I write it out and then I take notes on top of it in a different color ink.
Wow.
So you can see it. It's backwards. But when you really study these, you can start to see the formulas that people use. And it's just really valuable.
Yeah, it is really valuable. Yeah, that's cool. That's something I don't know if I'd advertise that up front, but it'd be
because I'd have to be able to deliver.
Yeah, again, it's just we tend to pile stuff on when we're worried about the price or whatever. But it'd be a super cool thing to do once it's going, if it feels natural, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Those are some of my favorite. We do I call them behind the copy or behind the control. The one we did with Carlton, going through some of his stuff. One we did with Dan Ferrari was really great.
Mm-hmm.
You could get Paris on.
Yeah.
He'd do it.
He'd probably tell me no. You know he won't write us a testimonial, don't you? I've asked.
Know that.
Don't even ask. He won't do it. Yeah, so that'd be pretty iffy whether or not he'd do it. But I think it'd be a really good, like, I mean, they always, like in membership groups, you always want to do things to keep people around and surprise them. And I mean,
Yeah,
that would
exactly.
be a really fun,
It'd be kind of a cool
bonus for
unannounced
people.
bonus.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool, Nicole. All right. Awesome, April. So there you go.
Yeah.
February 15th deadline. And so, yeah, so the next step is just make the application. What do you want to know from people?
Okay.
And if you want, I can send you the application we use for RFL. The intent is a little different, but just as a reminder.
Yeah, please do.
That's another thing I got from Jesse, who probably got it from Kevin Nations or something. But it's like, if you're accepted, what will you bring to the group? That's a big one for people. They love. It really gives them buy-in when they go through that exercise. I'm always like, people are gonna be like, "Fuck you, pal," paying, like, you know, but they don't. They're always like, "Well,
bring my money, bitch."
Yeah, a few things about me that You might be surprised to hear, my friend, you know, that they really want to. So, yeah. Send me a ping or try to remember to. I'll send
Okay.
it to you. Survey.
Do that.
Sample. Cool. All right. Good stuff. All right. We got Chris. Yep. Cool.
What up? Yeah, so I kind of wasn't really sure what to bring to the call today. So I wrote a very long Supergroup journal post. I feel like this year I made a lot of money, not randomly, that's not the right word, but like my income streams are just kind of all over the fucking place and very like, not unintentional, but like I have so many different offers and affiliate offers and clients and like I'm just all fucking over the place. You know what I mean? And together it's all made a nice amount of revenue and profit and everything. But I feel like for next year, I really want to kind of just become very more intentional about what I'm doing and not just like, oh, any client, you know, like I took on a project for $1,100, you know, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck am I doing this? You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong.
$1,100? How did that happen?
Yeah, you know, like it was for this client. It's for Satchel and Page. It was their Black Friday sequence. I wrote like 3 emails and did some consulting. Like this dude, you know, the project took me, you know, 2 hours of writing, maybe less, and then like another 2.5 hours on the phone. So it wasn't like that, you know, much of a like EHR wise is probably okay, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, I shouldn't be doing shit for $1,100. You know what I'm saying? I should be doing stuff for $11,000, right? Or $111,000. Like that's what I should be doing.
Right.
So what my goal is to be like, let's kind of streamline all this shit a little bit, be more intentional and strategic, bigger projects, higher quality people, less quantity, because I don't want to be pulled in a million different directions and I really just fucking can't.
Yeah.
The good news is I feel like I have not, besides promoting EV, and my one consulting client, like I don't really have anything going on this month. And I don't know how I feel about that. It's like, you know, one thing I'm thinking about doing is I can't get that Shramko thing out of my head about the $100,000 just hanging out on my list waiting for me to come and grab it, you know, and doing that $10,000, whatever it is, higher ticket thing. So I think I'm just going to send an email maybe tomorrow and just be like, you know, let me see if I can get a client through my list of doing one of those email automation build outs. Because that's the thing, if I can do one of those a month, you know, like even if it's a $10,000 thing and I have to do it all myself, like that's not bad, you know? Again, I'm saying this having not done one of these in terms of the productized service that what I want it to be yet. So there's still some unknown stuff to go through it. Right. But, like I just thought about next year, it's like, what if I just did make it rain monthly, consulting, try to get maybe a performance-based thing with a whale, and then automation build outs. And then I think it was those 4 things.
Yeah. I think that's plenty, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's good, man. I think you need to have a year like this. This was my 2016 into 17, where it was like same thing, you know, trying different affiliate promotions and all these things. And for me, the X factor was how much it was taxing the team. You know, we're just running around like crazy, doing everything kind of last minute. And then you do get to a point where you can sit back and assess. Now, I don't know, you know, a month goes by fast. The holidays are busy with shit. It would be awesome to just kind of take this month to reflect and really get through. There's still probably like layers of shit going on in your head that you won't recognize until you haven't had to add more, you know, for a week or more or whatever. So I would love to see you just enjoy. I said recently, you know, I promised every year I would take December off because it's just a perfect month to take off, but I was never able to do it. So that would be cool. I would only say, you know, but, you know, you could try launching something and see if you could get an easy 10 grand out of it, but just make sure it doesn't grow a tail on you, you know?
I know. And my thing is like, maybe I just do that and just rest up and then just hit the ground running in January. But like, the way my brain works, it's like, because I'm so into the fucking numbers, it's like last month I was $9 away from hitting $30,000 in revenue.
$9.
So like my initial thing is like, well, fuck it, this month we're gonna go fucking nuts and we're gonna blow that shit out of the water. And granted, I had, like the thing is like, I'm just trying to, the business expenses, and now I want to do more advertising and shit. So it's like, it's getting hard for me to not slow down, because I'll still be fine. Like I still have rebuilds and other shit coming in. And obviously like with EVA, I'm going to fucking go balls out, and I want to create like an awesome bonus package, and love to put 20 people on that thing. I don't know if it'll happen, but we'll see. But I don't know. I'm just fighting. It's like self-imposed golden handcuffs. You know what I mean? It's like I know that eventually there will be a time when I have to really fucking take a month or two and like dip.
Yeah, that's why I think it's kind of good practice. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. I can't instruct you how to spend your time, but
yeah,
knowing that with the baby coming, you're gonna want to block out that time for sure.
Yeah.
And there's an unpredictability of a good month there, whether the baby comes on time, week early, week late. Our first kid was at least 4 weeks late,
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Ben was like, I wrote him an eviction letter.
Yeah. Like that's, yeah. So maybe we'll just chill this month.
So, well, also, I mean, I know you're on top of your books, right? But could you occupy like us digging deep into the numbers and seeing like dollar for dollar, what were those revenue streams, and getting your shit ready for taxes and getting ahead of things like that? Just do like practical administrative shit that really gives you a look at your business,
Yeah. Well, now that I've been tracking my time, I'm still kind of like, it's not a perfect system yet, because there's still things I'm like, oh, like I should have a customer service category for when I'm answering emails for course, so like I'm still working out the kinks, but it's 80 to 85% to 90% dialed in.
Yeah.
And I have my accountant who also does bookkeeping. I'm having her like kind of do all that shit in QuickBooks, and I need to follow up with her. But like what I'd love to be able to do is every month to be able to reconcile, like literally get a monthly EHR, like all my shit, and know like definitively. And like, man, I was fucking scared to do that, because obviously you never want to look under the hood and, see how the sausage is made. But I don't think I'll ever stop tracking time now, just because now I'm starting to be like, oh shit, like I've spent 5 hours this month on bookkeeping, and I've only started tracking 2 weeks ago. It's like, so I'll probably double that, it's like, that's 10 hours. That's 2.5 hours a week that I shouldn't be spending, that's like a fucking drag. It's test switching. So it's like, I'm just trying to see how many of those things that I can get off my plate, so I could just do the shit that Chris is good at.
That's good. That's really good, dude. What are you using? Toggle or what?
Toggle. Yeah, they sent me out with Toggle. And it's good. It's just like,
we're gonna start doing that team wide now.
Yeah,
tracking everybody. Just same reason, so we can know. Not so we can micromanage, but it's just so we understand like where are the resources going. Is it dumb for this person to be wasting their time on that when we could get it done cheaper or whatever?
Yeah, because like even like things like I was looking at like ConvertKit the other day. I was like, I got another affiliate sale. It's like $8.70 a month. I'm like, man, I wish I had like 1,000 of these. Obviously, as we do with every product. But I'm like, maybe I should like do an email series about this. And I'm like, okay, for what? For $200? You know what I mean? Maybe extra a month. It's like, am I really going to invest that much time? And like, I wouldn't know that unless I track the time. Unless I really had to force myself. Like even this is getting tracked. So it's like, yeah, maybe I'll just do a deep dive in my business, like you said, this month, and just kind of like assess and not fucking go crazy. Because I have like 5 or 6 deals up in the air right now. And like part of me is like, do I, my whole thing is like, I don't want to, like, if you're not fucking jazzed up to work with me, like I'm not going to chase you. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I mean, I got other stuff to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if that's the mentality I've taken for the last 6 years. Well, really for the last like 4 years, because the first 2 years I didn't really know what I was doing. But I don't know. Yeah. Like I'm also thinking of just like really fucking investing a lot in like advertising over the next year, and just being like, let's generate, if I could have this 10 or 15 or $20,000 productized service, and I could advertise, I could spend $2,500 to get one, you know what I mean? Like then the numbers make sense and it works out. And like, I don't know. I'm trying to think if that's a myth or not, if that's real, you know, like I think it probably is real, but at the same time, paid traffic is kind of a weird fucking thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, part of me is like, just fucking, you know, put your balls on the table, bro. Like, shell some money out, be an entrepreneur, like risk. And then the other part of me is like, don't be an idiot, you know, and like only do things that are proven and make sense. So it's like, that's kind of where I'm at now. Like just trying to think like what the next big, like how to get to the next level.
Well, I think that's the thing is you would want to know the result of that, right?
Yeah.
And the theme of this call, like if you're gonna make that big investment, what's the equation? What does that payoff look like?
Yeah, and that's always been my problem. It's like because I need to get super clear on the offer. You know,
because if you've got all these different things and you're like, if you feel scattered, it's hard to know. Is that the thing that excites you most to invest in to get that result? So I'd say, you know, you have permission to, you know, be conservative on cold traffic spend right now. Just if you're not sure, unless it's if it's the course, that makes sense. Especially if it's automated at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean it could be, but like I want it to eventually be the newsletter, but that's obviously it needs to be a thing first before I start creating funnels for it.
Yeah,
so obviously that's how it works. But no, like I've been watching Mad Men again, and like they don't do everything for everyone. Obviously, just like, you know, most good businesses don't do everything for everyone. And it's always just so like, I feel like I just needed this year to kind of, I feel like I still went around in a lot of different directions, but a lot of stuff worked. A lot of stuff didn't work. A lot of stuff did work. So it was like worth it. But now I'm like, let's just like think of myself as a one person agency, at least for now. Think of myself as like, what's the one project? Like as I was doing this Black Friday sequence for $1,100, I was like, you know, this could be a productized service I do every year, but like, really, like, I don't need to do this. You know what I mean? Like, this guy could actually write the emails himself. Like, I don't need to fucking, you know, I did that for 3 clients. One of them worked really well. One of them didn't work well at all. And one of them, we're still waiting on the numbers. I think it worked okay. And it's like, why am I going through this emotional fucking roller coaster of all these projects? And like, is it going to work? Is it going to work? Oh, fuck, it works. Now I feel like I'm on top of the world. And then when shit doesn't work, I'm like, oh, I suck at this. How does anyone actually pay me money for this? So it's like, why don't I just do the one thing? Like if I go into a business and fix the cart abandonment, boom, that's going to fucking work. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not going to work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like sending follow-up email, like for that one specific situation, like why don't I just do that one thing and just make that my one thing? And then that could be the one money-making thing that's like 10 grand a month or whatever.
Right.
Or more. And then I could go crazy with the other fucking stuff if I need to be all ADD like I am, you know?
Right. Yeah. Have one main, reliable revenue driver.
Yeah. So
I'd say that for sure. And you don't want it to be clients, right? So.
Well, I don't know, man, because like, and I keep, you know, what I've just realized, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but.
No, it's okay.
You know, like, there's fucking problems with everything, you know?
Yeah.
And I could continue to just be a child about it and like bitch and complain, or I could just put on my big boy pants and just be like, you know what? There's going to be problems with clients. And there's going to be good stuff with clients. There's going to be problems with courses. There's going to be good stuff with courses. There's going to be problems with consulting. I was like, oh, consulting. That's the one thing I haven't been able to do too much of. So that's where I'll go and there'll be no problems. Now I'm doing it. I'm like, there's problems there too, because you get the money and it's great. And you hang up the phone and then, oh, you gave them email access to it. And then they send you 20 pages worth of copy that you have to look over. So you got to clear half your fucking day. And I'm like, well, I asked for that. Right. And I made the part of the offer. So I guess those are but like the point is like, there's pros and cons for every single thing.
Right. Exactly.
And now I'm just at the point where I'm like, what pros and cons, what set of pros and cons do I want? You know, it doesn't have to be forever, but I'm just trying to sift and sort. And like, that's the thing with client stuff. Like when I did the Quick and Dirty Sales Letter promo, the $69 fucking course, whatever. And like, it was great. And I sold 35 of them, but I was like, that's like $2,400, you know? It's like, how much easier is it for me to hop on a phone call for half an hour and get $5,000 for something, you know? Like, obviously he knows the deliverable too, but I don't know. So I'm not sure. Like, I'd love to not have any clients. I'd love to not have to fucking deal with anyone. I'd love to just sit in my robe and watch The Office all day and just money fucking rains falls down from the heavens. That would be the ideal situation. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to like figure out what set of problems I can go about and choose to.
Yeah, that's a mature thing. 100%. It's a reality, and it's like, yeah, like what's the most enjoyable kind of pain you can bring into your life? It's the most acceptable kind of pain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the good thing is we're in a place where if it's an unacceptable type of pain, we get rid of it. It's just, we know we're not up for this hell, right? But that's kind of another thing we've had going here today. It's like, it's an acceptable kind of pain. I can justify it, but you know, what day am I going to wake up and it's going to hurt way worse, and then I'm screwed because I'm stuck in it? Maybe is one of the fears, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, I think, dude, man, I'd love to see you just sit back and like really do a lot of, you know, soul searching as you're always doing, but giving yourself time to actually think it through and make decisions and let them go cold for a day or two and come back to them. And, you know, along with any administrative things that give you like a real look at where all the money came from this year. You know, you had a hell of a year and you reached some amazing targets. It'd be really cool to EHR all that shit and see, you know, what's earns its place. And what maybe things can you fuse together or create systems around, and then they're worth keeping. And, you know, all these little epiphanies that might happen if you give yourself time to do that. That'd be really valuable.
Yeah. All right, I'll do that.
And not to mention that you get 5 things out there, and chances are one of them's going to crop up and eat up part of that time anyway. You know?
Yeah, I know. I mean, most likely that'll happen. As long as it's not this fucking rinky-dink. Like it was an $800 deal, and then he wanted an extra email, so I told him $300 because that was the price when we started working 2 years ago. Like, fuck is wrong with
How does that happen?
You know, this guy made $82,000 as of yesterday morning. I mean, it's e-com, so there's overhead and all that. But
yeah,
what am I doing here? You know, like, let's make some real money. But all right, that's all I got.
All right, brother. Good call, everybody. Appreciate you. And I'll look in the super group. I'll put up details about the place in Austin, but really excited about that. And I'll see you on the one-on-ones, and I'll see.
I wanted to double check because I checked it. The last recording I see is from September. So.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
shit. I'll get on Mary and make sure that they're getting put up.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me know. I usually just see that thread is new again and assume that that's the recording going up, so I shouldn't do that.
Oh, maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot, but the one that says the call recordings, the last one I see in there is September. But
okay.
maybe I'll look in the group call.
No, there should be the call recordings. So
okay.
I'll have Mary look into it right away.
Okay, cool.
I'll make sure this one gets up for sure because I know we'll have that one.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.